Okay, so we're doing a brand new Maya run. It is a number of years since I've really played Borderlands 2. It's one of my favorite games, but Maya is one of the characters that I never really spent that much time with, so I'm going to give it another go and see how it goes.
One where the very fate of Pandora hangs in the balance. If not, too bad, I'm telling you anyway. First, there was the vault, an alien prison open.
Classic, just the intro, just oh,
The warriors who opened it, the vault
the vibes,
a container of
the vibes.
manacles and disappointment. They vanished.
I mean, it was disappointing, but Borderlands 1 was an excellent game as well.
Vault's opening triggered the growth of a
This is sadly something that, you know, does happen with smaller studios, and to be honest, these days with the larger studios.
emerged all across Pandora. Its appearance attracted many, including the Hyperion Corporation. They came to Pandora to mine
Hyperion, you scumbags.
and bring order to the
Going
city.
down.
Through their excavations, Hyperion uncovered evidence of an even greater vault.
If you've never seen the Borderlands games before, they are basically
Power to
the godfather of looter shooter games. You're basically in a world, go do your thing, find out where there's some loot, find out where there's some bosses, go take on stuff. You got story missions, side quests, everything. And the guns in this game are just fantastic. Really clever system that they employed, where the guns actually generate from a number of components. So although there's not as many guns as they like to make out, there is a lot of variation to all of the guns in terms of the components, the stocks, the sights. And so the guns do work a little bit different, and you know, one version of the same gun you might not be too keen on, but then another one might be absolutely perfect. That sweet spot. So you really can cater your arsenal to how you want to play and just kind of what you're feeling. Slap. Well, we're getting into it here. If you don't know anything about the Borderlands series, effectively we're at a backwater planet in the solar system, and there basically has been like a gold rush here. This planet was ravaged by big, mean corporations that were basically trying to get resources from here, as well as rumors of alien artifacts and wealth and weaponry and power, basically. And so yeah, these companies came here, tore the planet apart, didn't really find what they were looking for, and then a lot of the workers in the company and that were just left here. And Pandora is a very hostile planet where the wildlife is going to tear you apart, like everything's looking to kill you. And the guys that were left here, most of them went mad, basically. They went crazy from the scenario that they were left in. And so there's all these bandits, and you know, there's humans that have ended up taking over this planet. It's very Mad Max style. And lots of little factions and gangs, and so not only do you have the wildlife to contend with, but you have these other human elements. And so we are a Vault Hunter, and we have come to Pandora because we're still not too sure. Maybe these rumors are true. Maybe there is still some goodies out there to get. Maybe there is still some mysteries to uncover. And so we come here, and we're just doing our best to find some loot, find the alien artifacts, and we have to interact with the factions and the groups of people that are in this world already, and you know, fight. And there's obviously good guys and bad guys. There's already, at this point in the second game, there's very well established good guys, the Crimson Raiders, but I won't give too much away if you are interested in watching. For now, this intro is just showing us the original set of characters: Zero, Maya, Sal, and Axton. as we have arrived. I think that the intro here was originally quite different. I think this was actually meant to happen after an initial run-in with Handsome Jack, which is the chap that this statue, this figure on screen is meant to be right now. Handsome Jack is the head of Hyperion, which is the largest mean corporation, and basically, yeah, he's the bad guy. He's the guy we want to take down. The version of Handsome Jack we have here in Borderlands 2 is by far the best in the series. They did do some other things with him in some of the other games, but as far as I'm concerned, this is Handsome Jack. Any other Handsome Jack in any other Borderlands title, that's some other guy. Right, so here we are, character select. You got the 4 original base characters, and then we had 2 DLC characters which came in, which was a fantastic addition to the game. Just new ways to play and enjoy the content. And yeah, we're going to go for a Maya run here. And we'll just go OG for now. Go straight in. So after Handsome Jack has ambushed us there, we've ended up in this desolate wasteland. But fortunately for us, we have a friend. Sup, Clap? So most of my time on Borderlands games in general has been more on the console side of things. I think I have pretty much every Borderlands game probably on pretty much every system. But the PC is my newest addition, and so I haven't spent as much time in the game on the PC, and just despite the age of this game, it looks fantastic. Having the extra field of view, the extra frame rate, just the higher pixel count just really does. It looks beautiful. It looks absolutely beautiful. A lot of people get really stuck up with the Borderlands franchise in general because of the art style, which I absolutely love. It was not originally an intended path for Gearbox to take when they were designing the game. They were going for quite realistic, although stylized graphics. Excuse me. And they just found that the experience that they were trying to create, the size of the world they were trying to create, they just didn't have the computing power. They just could not get it to work the way they wanted, and it really was stifling their vision for what Borderlands was going to be, the original game. And it was only when they were mucking around with some concept art, I believe, someone sort of jokingly said, well, it's a shame we can't just do it with the concept art. And they thought, well, can't we? Why not? So they went for the more cartoony, cel-shaded kind of style, and they were able to do the mechanics they wanted, and that is the real hero of the Borderlands franchise. Specifically to this point, Borderlands 2 being the peak as far as I'm concerned, because they made that compromise and they broke the world into bite-sized chunks where you do have loading sections in between. It meant that they were able to implement some very interesting underground mechanics to how the world generates, how the loot generates, and it makes it a very special experience. I don't know of any game that does its its layers of mechanics within the game, quite like the way Borderlands does. And it's a shame because it's such a good system, and as we go through this, you know, I hope that you'll have the opportunity to take that in and experience some of that for yourself, because I have yet to find a game that beats Borderlands 2. Gearbox software at the time as well, and even to today, are not massive comparative to a lot of the other studios that are their competition. So at this point in time, for this kind of game to be coming out of this kind of studio as well was very impressive. Poor Claptrap. So I've been talking over stuff a lot, so if you don't know who this is Claptrap. He is a Hyperion robot that was left behind in all the chaos that I previously mentioned. And he's the last of his kind, apparently. And he's a little bit broken, like all of us, so very relatable. This gun I'm holding at the moment here, and this other yellow one, these weren't originally like the guns you would start the game with. These are guns that were reserved for people that had pre-ordered the game, and you got a little special code you put in to open a little extra boost on the gun front when you got going. And since, with the various iterations of Borderlands that they've re-released, they have just become a staple. They give it to everyone. So it's kind of cheating, but I need all the help I can get. Come on, Clappy.
Jack's tearing Pandora apart to find the vault. They say Jack's drilling operations are causing those earthquakes. That, or your mom just got out of bed. Zing!
Whoa.
You'll need that funny little robot's help.
Dude, that's not called for.
The last bastion of the resistance against Jack, and the only place you'll be truly safe. Get to Sanctuary.
Hello. First. It's the sense of it. I've spent a lot of time in Borderlands 2. And I have replayed mostly as Zero. Zero's my guy. And then Krieg, and then Sal and Axton. But my time on Zero is probably double all the time of everyone else put together, because they broke. The variety in the way the characters play has always been very well done, though. Focusing on specific things that will benefit a specific player, so certain guns will benefit each of the players in a certain way, and certain characters will excel with those weapons, so there's a reason to play the different characters one by one, and try and see which bits of kit, which weapons can come together to make the most interesting builds, and Borderlands does do very good builds. This is probably the first game I really properly got my teeth into understanding builds and how much they can affect a game. Maybe. Well, probably shouldn't have killed him up there, but I don't think I got a Hornet out of that. The bosses in Borderlands have their own loot pool, where they will have a legendary gun, which is a top tier gold weapon. Gold, yellow, orange, whatever you want to call it. And so you can go back and farm them. And as I previously mentioned about the way weapons generate in the game, all of the legendary guns also are in that convention where you will have different components of the gun, which will mean that you have versions of the guns which are, they'll all be fantastic. Legendary guns in Borderlands are actually legendary. They are really powerful bits of kit. But you will still have within that ones which are a little bit better than the others, or ones that perhaps are just a little bit more your flavor. That applies to shields and all the rest of it. Come on, baby. Let us in.
Well, it was nice knowing you. I hear getting eaten alive by bullymongs isn't such a bad way to go.
Let me get that for you. Executing phase shift. You're welcome. Perks of being an artificial intelligence. I'm networked into almost everything on this planet. It's a long way to Sanctuary. Please take whatever you need for the journey ahead.
Thank you very much. I will do that. Loot, loot, loot.
Let me know when you're ready to go meet with Sir Hammerlock, minion.
Will do. Okay. First section done. Let's go, my guy. So this isn't necessarily going to be that long today. I just wanted to get into the game, get the feel for it again. Start out with Maya and just head maybe to Sanctuary. We'll see how far we get. Sanctuary is the first kind of, well, it's the like hub area for the game. Hyperion Station floating around Elbis, the moon for this world. Bullymongs are they're just wildlife. They're just indigenous species to Pandora. One of many. And these enemies also have the same generation mechanic that the loot does, where when they spawn, they will it will pick what kind of version of that enemy it is. So not every time you sort of visit the same area and replays will you get the exact same group of enemies. And then in harder playthroughs, because this game is designed so that you can play through the entire campaign doing whichever components that you would like to, as long as you do the main story. But then you can come back into the game and keep leveling up, and the game will always level to you. And then you can go through and you can do bits and pieces you didn't do before. And so as the game levels up, it's not just that the enemies will have a longer health bar or something like that. They will be the higher tier version of the enemy. So in this run through where you have maybe a bullymong pup, so one of the sort of smaller bullymongs there in the last little bit, you would then have an adult bullymong. And if it was 3 pups, you'd have 3 adults the next time. And then in the hardest version of the playthrough, you'd have like badass and like a lot harder versions of the enemies spawning. The gun I got here on the go. The SMG. SMG is good for Maya, if memory serves correct. Be getting into that. Better luck next time, Flint.
Since my minion just saved your town, you want to do your bestie Claptrap a favor and
So Flint is Captain Flint is the bad guy in this area. He's taken over this particular nook of the planet.
I knew Hammerlock would come around eventually. Me and him are like two peas in a pod. Two bullets in a bag. Two cannibal midgets in a fat guy's ribcage.
Okay, and Hammerlock is our friend in this area. He's gonna help us out. Oh, what happened there?
A pleasure to meet you, Vault Hunter. I am Sir Hammerlock.
Hammer time.
At your service. I came out here to research the bully moles for my almanac. Men trapped me on this glacier. Many thanks for disposing of them, by the way. To survive a direct run-in with Handsome Jack and defeat Captain Flint's bandits, unheard of. I'm headed to Sanctuary myself. From what I hear, the Crimson Raiders there could use a hero like you. Now, if you could hand me the robot's eye, please.
Suppose so. Let's get you fixed up.
Now, I need only connect this to this. That should do it.
Ha ha! I am alive!
Oh dear, he's talking again.
Minion! Now I've got my eyesight back! And you're far uglier than I remembered. Time to join up with the Crimson Raiders in Sanctuary.
Roof hurts.
Murderers are jerkbags, like that Hammerlock dude.
I'm standing right here, dude. Now that Liarsburg is cleared, I might as well turn on the main power. This town's full of things that may be of use to a
You
good
could, man. That's going to be a lot of help.
Minion,
Alright, just do a little bit of looting over here before I... Go on. So what's over there? Goodies. Oh. Oh. That up. Guess I want that up. Oh well. There'll be some more cheese around here somewhere. So now Hammerlock's gonna pop the power on and give us access to some of the machines around here. Machine vendors are the main way in the game of buying equipment, ammo, health, changing bits and pieces like that.
I plan to post some jobs for you. Oh well, just speak to me instead.
Hey, not quite high enough level for my shield yet.
This town used to have a spectacular amount of... Though Captain Flint killed everyone in Liarsburg.
Natural Selection Annex. That was another pre-order. I feel like that was originally from a specific store. This country was game somewhere. So yeah, it's okay. Look at that.
See no reason that wild bullymong should lollygag about the place, disrespecting the...
Lollygag. Unbelievable.
the objectives on your HUD pertain to your active mission.
Let's see what
Change your active mission.
cosmetics I've actually got access to at the moment. Get any vibes? So, I managed to do an okay job picking those up in my other playthroughs, or they're just unlocking a lot more of it. Stay on the head. color on the outfit. The Iceman always likes something a bit icy. And I'm sure most people know by this point that video games are just a different realm where we can eat. See who has the best fashion sense. The games are just a vehicle in order for us to be able to do that more easily. I've got some fun color ones there. I've not seen all of these before. Real cool. Go with now. Nice. Good. Claptrap. So the respec on the skills, that's how you do your character builds. Oop. So if you get different weapons, different items, you might want to completely change your skill trees in order to have a more powerful character. Which I'll have a brief look at the skill trees in a moment. I don't think I can apply any skill points till level 5. I'll hold off on that. I'll hold on that, and then when I have to spend my first one, we can just take a moment to see what that's about. That's the pond clear. I've just got to go over here and clear out the graveyard. See you later, sucker. So in the story of Borderlands, like Sirens, which is the class I'm running. Talking. Sirens are a very specific type of character. Like, I guess, if you want to think of it like this, you're like a space magician. Yeah, like the rules of the Borderlands games is that there can only be... I'm gonna get this wrong now, so someone can correct me. There can only be... It's either 7 or 9 sirens in the universe at any given point. And so, yeah, there's something real specific about that which I don't think has been properly explained in anything yet. We've seen a number of the different sirens, but in each of the main games, Borderlands 1, 2, and 3, they give you a character who is one of those sirens. In the first game, it was a character called Lilith, who we will meet a bit later. And in this game, it was Maya. And, Maya got done real dirty in Borderlands 3, so we'll probably have a rant about that at some point. In fact, I'm going to have a rant about that right now. Without giving... No, I'm afraid I'm going to have to give something away here, so... So, in Borderlands 3, Maya dies. And the way that they wrote that part of the story, it didn't make any sense. The two main sirens at that point in the games on our side are Lilith and Maya. And Maya has gone off and is doing some other things and training a protege. And Lilith has taken over the head position of the resistance on Pandora, the Crimson Raiders, and you know she's busy doing all of that. But in the story, Maya and her apprentice rejoin us for a while, and then Maya is exited from the game in a very pathetic way, and it would have made more sense at that point in the story for it to be Lilith that was the one that moved on. You know, she'd had her sort of run through in the games. She'd been very solid in the position of where she was, and she was more in a position of responsibility for that to happen, and then have a more interesting story arc with the other main players around her at that time. So for then Maya to be put in a position where she was sort of stepping back from things, and then would be thrust into a position where she now perhaps needed to pick up the torch, and then she would be the one trying to be a new leader. Because something I haven't mentioned here is that there's a very odd dynamic with Maya's apprentice after Maya dies. Because Lilith, who is the commander, you would expect to be more decisive, and she has been up to that point. So it doesn't make sense for her to then suddenly be this a weak character that Maya's apprentice needs to sort of... It's arguing most of the time. It's arguing their loggerheads, basically, that that she doesn't think that Lilith is doing the leading job as she should. And it just doesn't make sense for any of those characters to be in that position at that time. For Maya to have been in that position, and then for her and her apprentice to be butting heads, like, that would have made sense. Because Maya is now trying to fit into a role she previously was not intending to do. But, you know... digress. I will come back to the here and now, but just my thoughts on a big mess up down the line in the franchise. But yeah, let me know what you think about that particular nugget of information. I'm spending too much time thinking about other things and not concentrating on where we are here and now. Remember exactly what I'm doing here, so I am going for that. That's very cool, like things like that, just the logic, you know, you can just run into it and get electrocuted, but you're going to use your brain, take out the power. So, you know, what I'd really like to happen for the continuation of these games is to do something really, really big and nuts. They did some good homages in this game where they revisited some areas from the first game, and so it's really cool revisiting those places. And they did that again with the pre-sequel, which came after Borderlands 2. So, you know, there's some really funny things they could do with maybe, I don't know, Borderlands 4 maybe has some time travel and some things. Maybe we undo some mistakes we did in the past, story-wise. Right. Well, we're into green territory now, so all of this white stuff, gone. slow reach. We're going to go in the middle ground here. I should probably equip some good. And one of these. Yeah, I might revisit in another video that that thought on the Lilith Maya situation at some point, because sort of concentrating on this, etc. Pretty sure I probably didn't formulate those thoughts very well. It's fail for you there. So, hidden around the game, you may have noticed right at the start, I touched a symbol on the wall, a vault symbol. So there are hidden collectible vault symbols, children of the vault symbols, that are spread around the game. It's basically just a collectible, but something else that the Borderlands series does very well is they know you're going to be doing multiple playthroughs. So you have this page here, which is a badass rank. And a badass rank goes across all of your different characters and all of your different playthroughs. It is your account specific. So you personally, as a player, are always working towards a boost to your stats, your base stats, which means that you can just be all the more powerful, but it helps when you want to jump between different characters and different different fresh starts and stuff, to have that little step up. But there's all kinds of things that feed into the pool of creating these badass tokens that I'm now spending to up my stats. And one of those is finding symbols. So it makes a collectible actually a an symbol. It makes even something that's trivial like that actually a meaningful thing to do with your time in this space. Not doing very good with that. Let's switch this over quick. To the buttons again in a minute. So I've actually switched. I've completed this mission here, and I will go and turn that in. But for now, I'm excuse me. For now, I'm near to an area where I can do something else on the checklist before returning. So Hammerlock wants some Bullymong hair, so I need to punch them instead of shooting them. So I have to be a little bit careful. I can do a bit of damage here and then boop, boop, boop. Sombra him. Big boy. All right. Whoops. That's when it all went wrong. Whoop. Not a fan of that exploding pistol so much. Maybe it's because I should have been actually hitting the target, but... and I forgot what I was doing. Oof, badass. Why do I have a badass and then another badass so quick? So early in the game. Well, there we go. Death number 1. So this game will punish you if you're not paying attention. Or if you're just terrible at playing the game, obviously. Right. We'll try not to muck about as much. A bit more attention. But that's another point with the game. When you die, it's not that you ever are at a stage where you can't carry on. What it does is it takes a percentage of your money that you currently have, and that level of money is based on where you are in the game, so the higher you are, the larger chunks of money the game will take off of you. Which is a meaningful penalty, but it's not, you know, it's not the end of the world. I'll get over it. When you're down like this, this fight for your life mode, if I get a kill, then I get back to my feet. But we're gonna go for another wipe for now. Set the tone. Let's get a few more guns, get a bit more going on with the character. I will hopefully not be quite as incapable. So I get this next level up, I get an ability, which will also help me with taking down my foes. And then I should be able to get a grenade very fast after that, so you'll have lots of things going on. Yeah, you were clear enough, I'm just being an idiot. Thank you, Hammerlock. Also trying to stay alive. Need some health. Are you? Okay, I'm not gonna hurt you, I'm just gonna take your fur! Yeah! This BA. BA Baracus. Yoink. Right, you, stop being a pain.
It's soft, warm, and really good at absorbing robot tears. Once you're done collecting all the fur, why don't you bring it to me instead of Hammerlock?
I overheard Claptrap asking for the bullymong fur you're collecting.
Same as I mentioned earlier about legendary guns actually being legendary. When you get an enemy like this, as I'm sure you can see, I was getting a lot of damage off from just from one hit from this badass, because he badass. Come here, I'm gonna punch you while I'm down. Ooh. No more deaths. There we go.
So, Hammerlock wants to give you a sniper rifle. Laugh at his offer. Ha! If you bring me the fur, I'll give you a badass shotgun I found in the hands of a dead vault hunter. It's really fresh. You can still smell the sadness on it.
Well, I spent too much time mucking about with that, so I didn't get all of my bullymong fur. But this next area over here also has some bullymongs right near the start, I believe, so I will just get one more fistful of hair. For returning Blyersburg. And then I will be returning to this area, I believe, because I have a new quest that I'll be able to collect, then come back here. Right, let's grab that. Scoot. Sniper rifle or a shotgun? Trying to think. I think that's probably a Jacobs sniper that Hammerlock gives me, which, as much as I like sniper rifles, Jacobs ones can be a little slow and unforgiving. That might not be the best thing for me right now. Can't remember what the shotgun is. We're just gonna do it at the time. A really beautiful sky in this game. It's obviously just very, very simple, but I remember times when I was playing where I'd just be late at night and you're just in the early hours of the morning and looking to KO, and you're just trying to just get that one more weapon, you know, one more level, and you're just running along, staring at the sky, and just feeling quite peaceful, despite the chaos of this game, particularly in the higher levels.
A trillion thanks, Vault Hunter. You
Okay,
foolish old
some more
man was
colours.
far more badass than he deserves.
Um,
Fag to myself.
we're just gonna take the sniper. We're here now.
Would you like to do battle with a riding piggyback?
That off. Play that in a moment. This gives you a little bit of background for the character.
Bullymong? If the answer is yes, please
Would.
move to the southern shelf and defeat Midgemong for me. If the answer is no, you are sad and I have no desire to speak with you further.
Can do. This.
It's a fine day, full of opportunity. Harvey Adam, don't die. I need your business.
That's right. I have the contraband. So yeah, again, the contraband was another exclusive pre-order bonus, and it's a bit of an odd grenade, really. It basically is like a firework. In internal situations, it can do some pretty good damage. I have to confess, I think probably take myself down with it more than I take down enemies. But externally, when the firework just flies up, I don't believe that it's that effective. But we'll find out in a minute, because if I couldn't handle a few bullymongs, we're going to be in Reload City. Respawn City. For the next few minutes. I'm going to try and be a little bit cautious. So I'd normally just blaze straight in here, but guess I'm maybe not on my game right now. It's gonna take it nice and slow. Right, let's try one of the grenades outdoors. I stand corrected. Maybe that was like an early days thing, and maybe I've just been had that in my head ever since. But it is just as likely that I'm a complete moron. Soundtrack here, just real beautiful, tranquil music. You know, they didn't just go for just the craziness. The game ramps things up audibly when it's time. But when we're in this desolate, remote area, presumably meant to be at perhaps one of the poles of Pandora, and you know, you just got this very serene music, despite the circumstance you're in. It's quite beautiful. Yep, baby. Okay. Let's try not to die too much. Change that to toggle. That's right. Checkpoints. This is the number 5. Let's just take a couple of these guys out. Issue. Wow, that works really well. So great. See if I can get beaten up while I'm in the menu. Hit the right button. Okay, so my main ability as the siren is phase lock. It's my action skill. You press A, lock onto an enemy in another dimension, preventing him from fighting back for a short while. Some enemies cannot be phase locked and instead instantly take damage. So it's a purple grabby thing, but we will get that on the go. It's going to help out a bit. Looks like that. So that's the base version of the ability. As we go up the skill tree and as we level up, we will have other ways that we can affect that to make it a even more powerful tool to use. Let's check the toilet here. Oop. Little guy. Oops. What's that? Things to interact with. That's cool, like pulling in other things to my ability. I don't think I've actually seen that properly doing that before because I definitely haven't played Maya since I was on a system that had the full kind of mechanics and technology running on that particular effect. Should be another vault symbol back here. Get through. Good. What's this other guy firing? A little bit of ammo. Okay, so going is above me. A few more guys here I'm going to clear out. Stop myself from getting overwhelmed and choking. Oh, nade that. Hi, how can I help you today? Do you want a drink? All I've got is lead. Okay, so this is only a... One again. The next character, the Bullymong riding midget that I get to. Not a proper boss, but he's like a first kind of sub-boss. First thing that you should sort of expect that might knock you around a little bit more than you want. I'm still butthurt that died to those Bullymongs a bunch of times. Well, yeah, those definitely work a lot better than they used to. Well, okay, not a challenge. I take it back. Can have one of these as well. That's why they pay me the big bucks. Let's take all of this. I'm gonna lose all my money dying anyway, but it's gonna be worth grabbing bits and bobs and selling them to get the money. Just so that we've got it in reserve for anything else down the line. Okay. This as well real quick. Okay. Fire incoming. Let's fire for it. Still then. Quick. Let's go sniper store. So, like you can get quite a variety of different guns in the vending machines. And this item of the day is always very helpful. It's pretty cool that you do get more powerful items in there quite regularly. But you will even get legendary items in some of the vending machines. But that is all another part of the random the factor. It's all RNG. All of that, the gun configurations, the guns that drop, the characters as they spawn, and then the weapons in the machines, and there's probably other things I'm forgetting there, but just they have so many random number generator parts of their coding for this game that just means that just feels different, feels unique. Come through that quick. It makes the world feel interesting every single time that you come back in. Fish! That's pretty cool. We've got that. Let's bug out of here. Remember the original Hex stuff when they were talking about Borderlands 2, the fabric moving the way it does, and a lot of the weapon effects and liquids and particles and all of that. They made quite a big deal about it. Okay, so we've got our next skill point here, and you've got 3 different trees that you can build on, and as you invest different points into each of the skill trees, you will open up new abilities within that tree, ultimately heading towards a big kind of skill at the bottom. I don't really know anything about Maya's trees. Like I say, it's been a very long time since I even looked at her. So I'm just going to take a moment just to scan over these. Look where I want to head. So Thought Lock, action skill alteration. Phase Lock causes enemies to turn on their friends instead of being locked down. Additionally, Phase Lock's duration is increased, but so is its cooldown. Scorn, melee override skill, press right stick to throw an orb of slag that constantly damages enemies near it. This ability has a cooldown. Pressing right stick when Scorn is on cooldown will perform melee. Have Ruin, action skill alteration. Phase Lock now slags, electrocutes, and corrodes. We are doing that one. So I'm going to start in this tree. Increases your shot, elemental status effects with blah blah blah. Increase magazine speed with all. We're going to go elemental. We're going to go elemental with this siren. I feel that that's the appropriate way to play Maya. Wink. Breathtaking. This as well, the, I mean, I know you're going to see a moon pretty regularly, but there's a number of things that work with that. which we'll talk about one of them later, but just now to say that it's a very cool facet of, I think, all three of the main Borderlands games at least, and I think probably the pre-sequel, was that the way the world and the map spaces were designed, they were always very keen to have it so that you could kind of see the other areas of the world, the areas that you've been to, so specific landmarks from one area where you have been, you then will probably be able to see from the next place you go to, or, you know, further down the line. Which just, it's a small thing, but there's no reason to have had to do that. But they bothered to do it because there is so much obvious love into the way this game was constructed. Everything was designed in a way to make things feel authentic, interesting, cohesive. And yeah, it's just something that just don't think you see in enough games, particularly from the sort of size of some of the other studios and the capacity they should have to put in those kind of touches of love. Okay, let's turn this in. Then I think next we'll be going on with next main story quest. Spy. Switch. Thank you very much. I think I just rock and roll. On Clappy. Get moving. You post for me?
Flint and I had a gentleman's agreement in the past. I give him the loot from the bodies Jack ditches in the glacier. He promises not to torture me for hours at a time. Then he does it anyway. But that ends today. We're gonna take him out, steal my ship back, and sail to Sanctuary. Let's go this way.
Here's what's gonna happen, Vault Hunter. My first mate, Boom Boom, is gonna kill ya. Jack's gonna pay us, and I'm gonna play hopscotch in your chest cavity.
Now be careful taking down Boom Boom. He's one of the Ripper clan.
Ooh, the Ripper clan.
I don't have to tell you why they're called that. They're called that because they rip people's flesh off.
One moment. Okay. Let's go. I don't think I'm going to get to Sanctuary on this section. But we'll get a bit further. Oh, okay. That's good to quickly adjust that. About audio. I can get a little bit more game going on. Right. See if that's any better. See if that makes any difference. It's a little louder. Tend to find with my testing of streaming so far, I tended to get drowned out by the game a lot, so I probably overcompensated turning it down. But I'm being lazy with it at the moment as well, but this is a proper game where if you shoot enemies properly, you get the benefit of that. So hitting a character in their crit will be a significant advantage to you. Let's see if I can blow myself up again. Ooh. Money, money, money. Happy with you? Classic Borderlands 2. Fail. Leaving my guy behind. That audio log there.
Day 2 on Pandora. Nobody here is used to seeing us
Go,
hiring.
buddy.
Half the people I've met want to
Got your
worship
back.
me. The other half want to turn me over to Hyperion. Still, it's a nice change of pace from the Abbey. At least here the bad guys stab you from the front. I haven't found a shred of info about Sirens.
Enough.
Closest I've got to a lead on Siren history are legends. It's not much to go on.
Minion, what have you done? These are human beings with lives and families.
Sorry.
Ah, totally kidding. Screw those guys.
I'm racking my brain trying to think of a name for that diamond pony I bought. I was gonna call it Piss for Brains in honor of you, but that just feels immature. Hey, maybe Butt Stallion? Nah, that's even worse. I'll tell you what, I'll give it some more thought.
Ooh, a diamond pony.
I've been waiting for this.
Fantastic.
There we go. Starting to wake up a little bit. The tend to be pretty funny about control schemes with games, and I play with the settings a lot, but actually running on my Apex settings on the controller, at least right now, which is seems okay. It'll probably wind me up eventually, and I'll have to tinker with it a load for further streams. Talking about further streams, I hopefully have a buddy joining me during this week when I continue with this playthrough. So that'd be nice to have some company, another Vault Hunter.
And open.
And yeah, a few more streams like that in line. Also got some a few other videos I'm working on, commentary for gaming stuff, some news stuff. I think my hello, Bud Stallion. I felt the need after playing a bunch of Switch recently and talking on a Switch stream last night. I felt a need to balance my palette, so I've reinstalled the first Doom remake, the 2014 version. So I've not seen that on PC because that was yet again when I was back using console. But an absolutely fantastic game. But I felt like I'd be keen to do a bit of time on that sometime soon. So if I'm doing bad on this with the gunplay and stuff, you will enjoy watching me die a bunch on that probably. So. Go on, guys. The animation of the psychos running at you here, just the way they kind of have such a weight and a kind of dive to their movements. Some of the animations are so good, so solid in this game. And I remember when the early Borderlands 2 trailers were coming out. One of the things that really hit me was just how that looked. How the psychos charging you just looked so much more
energetic in comparison to how they did in Borderlands 1, which was still very good, and particularly at the time, it was, you know, it was great. But it was really obvious that they stepped up their game even on such a small detail. Where's mine? Ah, fail. I didn't kill him anyway. Well, this sniper's not doing much. Pick with my fire. I mean, I guess that's going to make sense because my my weapon is elemental, and I did build first perk there, getting a nice bonus. Sneaky under here. Goodies, goodies, goodies. Those something I. Oh. Fat trap, where'd you get to?
You coming?
Coming. Oh no. How do we get through? Ow. Oh, what? It's not a normal game where you just shoot out the lock. Oh, I do shoot out the lock. Just in a Borderlands way. Howza! But don't milk things either. Like, there's just one thing for this one boss at the start of the game. It's very simple. It's not like, you know, it doesn't feel fantastic using this turret or anything. It's just a 5-second throwaway thing. But they programmed this. They bothered to program this, and they don't milk that at all. I don't think there's any point in the entire game where they ever repeat using that. There might be an option for it somewhere, but they certainly don't ever make you do it. And it's such a... it's just all that sort of detail. Down. Let's go and loot there. Oh, the bane of my life. At least there's no over-encumbered. Things like that, you need them in certain games, but Gearbox, at least at this point in time, were always focused on trying to make the games fun. So there's things that don't make sense, there's things that are over the top in terms of what you can get away with as a character. But it's fun. The whole point is to come in, have a good time. I don't think they've added it in any of the later games, but they always made a point about there being no fall damage. So as you traverse about these maps, some of that must be to do with it just being maybe easier for them and less of a hassle for certain issues that players might encounter. But, you know, no fall damage, it just makes you feel tough. It makes you feel cool, and it's fun jumping off of stuff as you charge around. And that's what it's all about. Let's use that skill tree before anyone skill point before anyone spawns. Just gonna keep leaning into that for now. Goodies.
Grenade out! How about that?
The waves of enemies as well. No, I guess it's like a lot of it's cannon fodder. You have a lot of enemies in this game, even at such a very early level of the first, first section of the first playthrough. Just have lots of stuff to be doing a lot. It's not that you just have enemies that maybe have a bit more health that are kind of hiding behind things and dodging around. Like that's fine in certain games, but with this game, you're sort of trying to encourage constant movement and chaos, and it just means that you have these little sections where you'll be navigating in between, and you can romanticize about the beauty of the glacial surroundings. But when a fight is actually happening, you know, you need to be paying attention, or maybe looting and then letting your friends die and then worry about fighting. But you get the idea. Fish. The dialogue as well. Just the fun stuff that's going on in the background. The banter with the characters, like just sort of provoking and antagonizing you all the time. And then silly things like this where there's just an audio log playing in the background that's very self-aware that it knows that it's just an audio log that's playing, that they know that it's working towards the characters' understanding of what's, you know, their purpose and pushing them forward. But, you know, the timing is so perfect because you're here and now that it doesn't make sense for it just to be a tape that's on, unless they highlight the fact that the tape's just constantly playing and someone's pointing out how ridiculous that is. It's just fun.
Hold it.
And the sheer volume of loot boxes and bits and pieces around, like, this means you're constantly picking up stuff, and you obviously get the enjoyment of that. Okay, I can put this out now. Let's get rid of some of this, and when I say some of this, I mean all of it. So you're going to keep with that because it's apparently a very effective grenade. That no one knew it was that effective. Everyone just thought it was a little sparkler. Fact checked. I ain't a real doctor. I just think to have no issues. Pistol though. Things hidden as well, just stuff like this. Just, you know, you wouldn't see this chest unless you bothered to explore. And that's a game like this should be about exploration and looting. Finding secrets, finding hidden symbols on the wall, you know, extra little side quest things. You should be encouraged to look around and it not just be the case that everything is laid right in front of you and you kind of have to, by course of action, end up in that position, you know? That's just boring design. It's very unmentally stimulating. Unmentally stimulating? Non-mentally stimulating? Or which way that should be worded, but we're gonna get Flint dead. And then that's gonna be it for today, so get off him, you guys. Vault Hunter in the house. Bullets definitely do more damage when you hit the target. It's a pro tip. go, boy. I said earlier about the rewarding damage benefit of hitting crits, but I'm not sure I've hit a single crit since, so just so you know, you don't need to be some sort of crit smashing master.
Got them for ya.
Aurora Borealis. At this time of year, this part of the country, located entirely on this iceberg. Yes. May I see it? No.
Stairs? I can't climb stairs. Let's find another way up. Ooh, a crane. Find the controls.
Now, different points in Borderlands 2's lifespan and on different versions of the game, I think on PC, when you're running certain frames per second, this lift sometimes doesn't work, so this could be, this could actually be the end of this particular session. But, we will see. Given there is no technical snafu, we will ascend and deal with Captain Flint. And get our little fast travel to the next zone as well. Just so we're all set up for next time. And this is given that Flint doesn't just kick my butt. At the moment I'm aware I'm using a fire weapon, probably towards a guy that's probably not the best one to be using fire on, but we're going to hope that these grenades that I've discovered that are really good do all the heavy lifting. I feel like there's another symbol above me, maybe. Do I remember how to get that? Screwed that shot up. That shot up too. There we go. Burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno. Excuse me. There was something crazy in my throat. In that corner? How do I do this? Memory, memory, memory. Oh, gotta be jumping. I won't look for this for too long. I could be wrong as well. I just have in my mind there's a symbol up there. Let's get these guys out of the way so I don't have that as a concern. The endless hordes. I'm gonna buy a load of ammo in a moment, but let's check that. Do I this and risk dropping down and having to back up? Really tight if that's the jump. But alas, maybe I throw my body into it when I actually try it. My go-to for games. Ah, was I overthinking this? Is this on this side?
Right behind dancing and crying.
Up. This looks about right. I don't remember this being such a intricate course across the yeah. But there you go. Not totally mental yet. A few hours left at least. Okay, let's go bust this boss. That down there. Do we get a lift? Success! That's the kind of teamwork we're going to need moving forward. Great work, everyone. Yupsy daisy. Okay, let's clear out this. Okay, our first real kind of boss. Sub-boss anymore. Actual boss. He likes fire. So, wish me luck.
Come on out, Flip! Your claptrap unit has returned!
It's a new torture dolls, boys! Let's turn up the heat!
Okay, so we've got a bunch of fire going on here, and there'll be some ads. And I think really I want to try and get him down before he gets too close, because he's pretty capable when he's right inside you. Time for the sniper to do its job. Oof, I'm not doing enough damage. Oh, let myself get on fire. Let's get some of these nades out. Bit of space. Oh, I shouldn't have made space. I should have used that while it was up, but there we go. It's good. And we get Flint's tinderbox. So this is his special gun. So actually, I think I said earlier that every boss has a legendary gun. That's not true. Every boss has a unique weapon, and that unique can either be a legendary gold, orange, yellow gun, however you want to call it, or it will be a named blue gun. And so the tiering of guns, typically in most games, which I'm sure most people know, would be white, green, blue, purple, yellow, orange, gold, whatever you want to call it. So blues are just kind of blues, but if you have microphone, if you have these uniques where it's blue but it has this red flavored text on it, and that red flavored text indicates that it is more than just a blue. It's a sort of like a hidden legendary is sort of a way of thinking about it. So you can have blue guns with the red text, which are very good. You can have the legendary guns, which are very good. And even the step up from each of those independent
rarities is quite significant. So you will feel the difference from one to the next. But even purple guns, you can get purple guns which are very good and in some cases seem like they should be kind of a higher tier. It is worth checking out, like, almost any gun you pick up after blue to see if it has, you know, maybe some of that special sauce to make it a comparable weapon of destruction. And that's yet again, that's another thing about Borderlands 2 which I don't think I've seen done as well in any other game. The loot system is so relevant, it's so worthwhile exploring, that it's not like just a throwaway thing. And I'm gonna loot shame Destiny here, but Destiny has had a massive failure on that front because there's no reason to get the lower tiers of guns in that game. You're only going to be running, you know, you're going to run an exotic in one slot. Everything else is going to be the same. It doesn't matter. Nothing else you pick up is going to be worth your time of day at all. And probably even worse than Destiny was Borderlands 3. I don't know what state it's in at this very moment, but Borderlands 3, they completely choked on the loot system, and it is a joke. All you do is run around with basically just the legendary rarity, and so many of them feel so lackluster that it really just doesn't. It is a completely meaningless system, which I think they have improved on a bit. It's not as bad as it was at the start of Borderlands 3's lifespan, but it still isn't much to sing about, and certainly doesn't come close to the balance that they managed to get here in Borderlands 2. So I think we're going to call it there for today, though. That's session 1. Just getting set up with Maya and on our way to Sanctuary. Thanks to anyone who may have stopped by and checked out the stream. I've had a lot of fun. I will be carrying this on, and pretty soon, and potentially with backup. So yeah, please check me out next time. And I also have a YouTube channel. This Ice Will Break, so check me out over there as well. I got some various content I'm doing on there, lots and lots of plans. So have a great weekend. All the best. Take care. Peace.